What did you finally call yourself when you started to box?
When
Did you
I-
have a nickname?
No, I didn't. But later on, someone gave me the name of Mongoose after I turned professional.
Was that Jack Murphy or was that someone else?
Murphy, I think it was Murphy. And the Mongoose is the killer of snakes. And
Sure.
Archie Moore was a renaissance man of the sport, a great interview who pulled pearls of wisdom from his mind as if they were cards from a deck. A boxer who remained competitive into his 50s, Moore said he perfected his fighting style listening to jazz tunes. His punches reflected the improvisation, the flow, and the beauty of the notes, until it was time to become a fierce animal. The mongoose lets the snake strike him again and again, Moore said, while he keeps out of the way, watching, figuring out just how the snake strikes. Then, when he's got it figured, and the snake tires and slows down, the mongoose hits. Although his birthday remains a mystery, his mother said that Archibald Lee Wright was born December 13th, 1913, in Benoit, Mississippi. Archie was always sensitive about his age, listing it as 1916, only to later joke that he was 3 years old when he was born. His parents separated when he was 18 months old, sending both Archie and his older sister, Rachel, to St. Louis to live with his mother's brother Cleveland Moore and his wife. The Moores adopted Archie and gave him a new last name, but things didn't get any easier for him as he grew up in Carey Patch, a crime-ridden neighborhood of St. Louis. His uncle Cleveland was injured in a freak accident and called over for Archie while on his deathbed. He made the 12-year-old boy promise that he would take care of his aunt for him. Now with no father figure in his life, Archie fell in with a bad crowd in petty crime, only to be arrested while stealing change from a trolley car. Standing before a judge for his sentencing, tears streamed down the 15-year-old's face as he knew he had disappointed not only his aunt and mother, but the dying wish of his uncle. Moore was sentenced to 3 years at the Boonville Reformatory, one of the worst institutions for juvenile offenders in the country. Small for his age, Moore got into one fight, knocking out his tormentor, and was never bothered again. He was released for good behavior after 22 months. He joined the Civilian Conservation Corps and found work in their forestry division.
Well, after what seemed a long time, getting a lot of experience and building my body in the CC camp, I thought it was time to move on because I had boxing really on my mind. But how I would do was to go into the St. Louis area and get a job on the WPA. We were standing around the fire one day, and boy, it was cold, about 5 above zero. And we were talking about Louis Armstrong and the Mill Brothers, who, by coincidence, had made a beautiful tune, a big seller, called WPA. Went something like this: oh, the WPA, you lean on your shovel, you work while you play, the WPA. And boy, the kids are having a lot of fun and laughing, and pretty soon this foreman comes back, and he said, hey, you guys, take that fire out. And well, it kind of dampened our spirits. And the fellow said, well, okay. So they pretended they were going to work. And the foreman went down a couple of blocks and he came back. He said, I thought I told you to put the fire out. So the guy sheepishly went away. This time the foreman said, when I come back, if you're around the fire, I'm going to give you guys a 403. Now the 403 means finish. So he went about a half a block and he cut through an empty house and he came right back around. And he walked up to the fire and kicked it over. And all my dreams just fell into place because I could see myself being forced off of a job, like being forced off of a train. Now I've got to make it because my back is to the wall. And I took the shovel that I was leaning on, and I threw it up in the air. It hit the ground, bounced away. And I said, fellas, I've had it. The next time you see me, you'll be paying.
Moore then came under the guidance of boxing trainer Monroe Harrison, who taught him the techniques of spot punching and defending with his elbows. Moore wanted to learn every nuance of the sport, and the trainer obliged. Harrison coached me in the shell, Moore said. It afforded an excellent defense while it enabled you to pop or explode with a punch with either hand without any telltale shoulder movement. According to Moore, he made his professional debut in 1935 against Piano Mover Jones, who outweighed the 150-pound rookie by 45 pounds. Moore knocked his opponent out in 2 rounds. He took fights wherever and whenever he could, sometimes fighting 3 times in a month against fighters with names like Dynamite Payne, Ham Pounder, and Kid Pocahontas. He supported himself financially by washing dishes on a train that traveled between Oakland, California, and Ogden, Utah, for $4 a day, before seeking his fortune in California with manager Felix Thurman. Campaigning in San Diego, he was beat up for the first time as he took on Johnny Bandit Romero, the most popular fighter in the city at the time. The southpaw knocked Moore down in the 5th, gave him a black eye, and cut open his mouth. Less than 3 months later, Moore rematched Romero and knocked him out in 8 rounds. The victory taught him that he could learn and come back better than before. In 1939, he beat his first-ranked contender in Marty Simmons, only to lose to Teddy Yaros and Shorty Hogue. Now finding fights against top men hard to come by, Moore was deemed too good for his own good. While other men became discouraged, Moore only became more determined. I'm not going to let nobody stop me on my way to the title, Moore said. Black man, white man, yellow man, red or brown man, nobody's going to stop me. I'm going to get it. Not getting the fights he wanted in the States, he traveled to Australia and, despite suffering from a perforated ulcer, campaigned there for a year, taking on the country's top middleweight contender in Ron Richards. Returning home, Moore suffered another loss to Shorty Hogue before finally turning the trick and stopping him in 2 rounds. Then for the next 6 years, Moore battled the best boxing had to offer in Jack Chase, Aaron Wade, Charlie Burley, Eddie Booker, Burt Lytell, Jimmy Bivens, Ezra Charles, Leonard Morrow, and Bob Satterfield, among many other notables. With victories over most of these men, he earned his way to the top of the light heavyweight rankings, but after a bout against the Alabama Kid in January of 1949, Moore had reached his breaking point. Getting paid a paltry $300 for his efforts, Moore wanted to quit the sport. Let's face it, I was never going to get a shot at the title, Moore said. I was never going to be a champion, except in my heart. But a chance meeting at a local car dealership with businessman Bob Reese changed his mind. Reese was impressed with the way Moore conducted himself and offered to put him on his payroll for $75 a week. The car dealer helped Moore sort out his finances, and his career caught fire. With Reese's financial assistance, Moore sent out press releases to sports writers explaining why he deserved a shot at the light heavyweight title. and the strategy worked. Moore effectively shamed champion Joey Maxim into the ring on December 17, 1952. But the tactic came at a price. Maxim's manager, Doc Kearns, agreed to the shot only if Maxim was guaranteed $100,000, some of which came out of Moore's payout. The bout was signed, then Kearns threatened to pull Maxim out of the fight unless he was made Moore's co-manager, and later hiding a rematch clause should Moore win. To make matters worse, Moore was struggling to make the 175-pound weight limit. He often ballooned up to 200 pounds between fights, drinking as many as 10 malted milks a day. Moore lost the 25 pounds and, despite being weight-trained, easily decisioned Maxim, winning 13 of the 15 rounds. After the bout, he walked over to Maxim's corner, but Kearns stopped him. "Well, Archie," Kearns said, "you got the title, but we got the money." Moore had to defend his title twice against Maxim, earning decisions in both. He also stepped up to the heavyweight division, defeating contenders Nino Valdez and Bob Baker. On August 11, 1954, he finally headlined at Madison Square Garden, defending his belt against Harold Johnson.
Terrific right. Goldstein is making a mistake there. There's no mandatory count in a title fight. Goldstein might have cost Johnson a fortune in that round. When you look at this Moore, you'd expect him to be on his face, but he's perfect. I think he's fought himself into a second win. Nobody expected this. Johnson is tired. You'd better do something, Harold. Moore's jabs are setting up a right. Look at him. You've got him, Archie. There. A great right hand. Johnson's getting up. And Goldstein's making another mistake. He's giving him an 8 count. Archie, hit him now. Johnson's shot. Watch him, Goldstein. That's right. Look at Moore. He had to pull it out or he was through.
Johnson was smooth, Moore said, but not rough. Marital troubles followed as in 1954, his wife divorced him on grounds of willful desertion. She charged him with keeping her destitute and penniless, squandering money on other women, and being sexually perverted. She also claimed that Moore threatened to throw her out if she refused to submit to his bestial acts. In May of 1955, Moore decisioned Nino Valdez for the Nevada World Heavyweight title, and the next month he was scheduled to face Bobo Olson at the Polo Grounds in New York.
How are you getting on with your training?
Well, Charlie's pretty good so far. Been working here about 2 weeks, and since we came from Las Vegas, we moved right along because I think that fight with Valdez, the 15 rounds under my belt, put me in pretty fair condition to start training for this fight, which I know will be probably a bit harder than the Valdez fight due to the style of Olson.
Do you think the boy at 168 or 70 pounds that's going to meet you will make any difference in your punching ability and boxing ability with a fast boy like Bobo Olson?
Well, Charlie Olson, being a natural light heavyweight, weighing 168, 170 pounds, has a bit of advantage in physical condition on me because I would have to come down from 196 to 175 pounds to meet him, which will therefore take some parts of my strength away from me.
Well, then the most important thing in your life, then, is the fight with Marciano.
That's right, definitely with Marciano. You see, I don't understand how they expect me to do all these incredible things, such as fighting a heavyweight weighing nearly 200 pounds 1 month, and the next month turn around and fight a middleweight. What do they want me to do?
Well, the only thing they want you to do, Archie, is to see if you can make some money with the both fights. Now, in regard to Marciano, we know we've been chasing Marciano now for the last 2 years.
That's right.
And at last, I think you have him cornered.
We've got him cornered, but he's hiding right behind Al Wild's little coattail. And Al Wild has said, well, what does Moore want? Publicity, publicity. Sure, we want publicity, and we want to fight. And I want to fight Marciano more than anything. That's why I'm going through all this rigmarole, fighting a middleweight, and then a heavyweight, and then a middleweight, to get a chance to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world.
Well, I know that we were trying to get Walcott in the ring with you when he was champion, Charles in the ring with you when he was champion, and we had the same trouble getting the light heavyweight into the ring with you for the last 7 or 8 years, and at last we got Maxim. I'm positive now with your win over Valdez in Las Vegas will make sure that you will be the next one to fight for the heavyweight championship.
Moore once again had to lose more than 20 pounds, but he told reporters that he came across a secret weight loss method from an Aborigine in Australia. He then described how he drank sauerkraut juice and chewed but never swallowed meat. Reporters believe that Moore's weight loss and age made him ripe for the taking against Olsen. They saw Olsen taking the light heavyweight title and Moore as his stepping stone before a match with Marciano. But Moore saw Olsen as his stepping stone for the heavyweight crown. He glared at Olsen when they met in ring center. "I think I was definitely the first to stare at the guy when we came to the middle of the ring," Moore said. "Bobo Olsen wouldn't look at me. That's when I knew I had him." At the end of the bout, a reporter asked, "Why did you keep looking in his eyes, Archie?" "The whole fight, you were looking in his eyes." "Because the eyes are the windows of the soul, man," Archie replied. Moore then described how he had developed a coding system for his punch combinations and that he had knocked out Olsen with a 4.69. When asked what the numbers stood for, Moore refused to answer, stating that, like his diet, it was his secret. The playful attitude made him a darling to the media that had ignored him for years, and he relished in the new attention. Moore started another media campaign to get the opponent he wanted in the ring. This time it wasn't Joey Maxim, it was Rocky Marciano. Patron Bob Reese helped put up the front money for the campaign, which included over 500 letters to sports editors across the United States. Moore was at the forefront, co-writing the press releases, taking them to the printer, and stuffing the envelopes. He sent off a Happy New Year greeting to Marciano and asked him to make a resolution to fight him in 1955. He then made wanted posters featuring Marciano's face in the center and himself as the sheriff. Moore was playing a psychological game just as he did with Maxim. He wasn't targeting Marciano, he was going after his manager, Al Weil. And the propaganda campaign worked. One writer claimed that Moore's rags to riches story made Marciano look like Little Lord Fauntleroy. Marciano himself became annoyed at Moore's insults, and for the first time in his career, Marciano wasn't the sentimental favorite. Archie Moore was the underdog, bucking the system, an outsider who became a star by his own force of will. The fight played to over 400,000 fans who watched in over 130 theaters across the country, the largest closed-circuit rollout ever.
The count was 4. Two minutes until the end of the round. The champion's in trouble. Bleeding from the nose now. 1 minute to the end of the round. Landing well inside. Got Marciano's eye puffed. 10 seconds till the end of the round. Marciano's fighting for his championship life. Got him rocking, but Archie's fighting back. Terrific right, just grazed the chin. Moore is just rocking and weaving, but he's not too badly hurt yet. Moore came out of it with a great left hook. He's making Marciano miss and miss. Miss and miss. Rocky looks tired too now. Right hand. Right hand. 5 by 6. Right hand. Moore's in bad trouble. Moore's not helpless, but he's in bad shape. Moore's still got that left hand pretty good. 1 minute till the end of the round. Another right by Rocky. This could be the end. Now he's really touching him. Moore's legs are gone. It's just his instinct. Just his instinct. Maybe the bell. Now he punches back. Now he punches back. Now he punches back. He's taking an awful beating. Look at his legs. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Moore's legs are gone. He's down again. 15 seconds. 9, he got 2, 9. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. There's the bell. He made it on his feet. Look at him going back. Very arm-weary, Marciano. Two great right hands by Moore and a great comeback from that last round. Now it's Marciano who is rocking. Marciano's the one in trouble. Puncher and boxer. I think the end is getting close. Nobody can be sure. Moore's terribly tired on that rope. Marciano's trying to put over the convincer. He's missing. Both of them throwing blows that might finish it. Of course, Rocky's stronger. Those punches are not landing solidly. If they were, somebody'd have to go. 20 seconds. Moore fought his way out of the corner. That eye is bad now. Rocky's still chasing him. The bull and the Toreador, and the bull keeps coming. 10 seconds. Right hand. Right hand. Right hand. 5, 6. That bell saved him. The bell saved him. So strong, Marciano. So strong. So durable. What right hand? Everything on. Moore, too. If Moore could punch with him, if Moore had to punch, what a fight this would be, and what a fight it is anyhow. Just a bombardment. Moore's legs are so nearly gone. He's not punching back at all now. Now he is. Oh, a good right hand by Moore. A beauty, just not the steam on it. There he goes, in his own corner.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That's all. That's all.
Moore criticized referee Harry Kessler after the bout for starting to give Marciano a standing 8 count when the rule was waived. If he'd done his job properly, Moore said, I could have knocked Marciano out. The bout earned Moore a $250,000 payday. He married Joan Hardy in 1956, and she was credited in becoming the stabilizing influence in his life. Now at 43 years old, Moore was thought to have his best fighting days behind him, but his most memorable bouts were still ahead. He defended his light heavyweight title by knocking out Yolande Pompey before challenging Floyd Patterson for the now vacant heavyweight belt.
Great combinations hurt Moore. Moore just can't figure this guy out. He keeps leading to Patterson, but Floyd won't open up. Patterson keeps throwing those shots to the side. He wants to take everything out of Moore. Let me tell you, those aren't taps. Every time he lands, the breath goes out. Now Floyd is still looking for that opening. There. A terrific left hook drops Moore. What a shot. Archie doesn't know where he is. Moore is up, but he's shaky. Here's Patterson. Two quick punches put Moore down again. Archie is tired. He's badly hurt. He never knew anything after that first punch. You can see he can't beat the count. It's all over. There's your new champ. Did this guy grow up?
It was all gone for Moore that night, Jimmy Cannon wrote, and there's no reason why he should get it back. But Moore once again rejuvenated his career. He traveled to Germany, scoring 2 wins before defending his title against Tony Anthony. Once again entering the ring weight-trained, Moore was losing early on until he employed one of his psychological tricks on the challenger. "Yeah, Tony, I'm ready to go," Moore said as they tied up in a clinch. "Just one more round, and I'll be gone." Moore talked Anthony into easing up, then hit him as hard as he could in the solar plexus, knocking him out in the 7th round. Moore then returned to the heavyweight division, defeating Roger Risher, Burt Whitehurst, Willie Basmanoff, Howard King, and Charlie Norkus. The old fighter fought at a leisurely pace, stalling for time and letting loose when he saw the opening. "There are those that figure Moore will come apart because of his age," Jimmy Cannon wrote. "It could happen because guys like Archie Moore go that way. They leave it behind them in too many rings, in countless gyms, and on all the roads where they run, at the tables where they don't eat enough, and in all the ways a middle-aged man grows older." Cannon's words seemed prophetic at first when the 45-year-old Moore took on the hard-hitting Yvonne Durrell.
Durrell would have to come storming in at Archie Moore early in the fight if he were to get him, and he just did with a right hand to the jaw. 5, 6, 7, 8, up at 9, but staggering. Archie Moore dazed and staggering. Yvonne Durrell swarming over him. Is this the night Father Time swings the sign? Archie Moore pounding from rope to rope and on his feet, rubber-legged. Durrell nailing him with everything he has. The gallant old champion staggering about the ring. Up at the count of 2, there is no mandatory 8 count. There is no automatic 3 knockdown. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's up at the count of 9. 1 minute left in the round. 1 minute. Down 3 times. Durrell trying to measure him. Can't seem to quite get to him as Moore now tries to move in and go into that shell-like defense. If Archie Moore lasts this round, it will be boxing's modern miracle. 30 seconds to go. 10 seconds. Archie Moore is going to make it. There's the bell. Archie Moore has made it. His handlers flew across the ring to get him back to that corner, and this is a big minute in Archie Moore's life. Durrell's left got home, but that right that came sometime later again glanced off the glove of Archie. Round 4. Good right-hand shot by Archie Moore. Seconds to go. Round number 4. Then started to move out after Durrell in round 4. Durrell came in with a beautiful right-hand shot, and Moore is down again. 6. Up at the count of 6. No mandatory 8 count. 2 minutes to go in the round. That right hand of Yvonne Durrell did it again. He has got Archie Moore wobbly. Moore trying to hold on. Archie Moore staggering, but fighting back. An amazing display by boxing's elder statesman, Archie Moore. How long can it go on? Left. We're in round number 5. The referee came in there. The rabbit punching tactics of Durrell, again drawing a warning from Jack Sharkey. While the referee does not score a round, he can penalize a fighter, take away points in a round. 30 seconds left. Round number 7. Moore has put the staggers to Yvonne Durrell. Drops him. Up at the count of 3. Durrell down. 10 seconds to go. The right-hand shot by Durrell was a glancing blow. Bouncing off the head of Moore. 10 seconds left, round 8. Durrell trying to get through the defensive shell of Archie Moore. Got a couple of licks into the body, but Moore, for the most part, blocked those punches. punches, that big right hand that almost gave him the light heavyweight championship in the first and sixth rounds when he had Archie on the deck. Seconds left. Down goes Durrell. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Saved by the bell at the count of 8. Now Durrell seems to be on his way as Moore hangs into the canvas again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up at the count of 9. Blood streaming from his nose, a cut over his right eye. Moore back after him once again. And down he goes again with a clubbing right hand. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, struggling at 9, 10. He is out. Man, oh man, what a dramatic turn in this fight. Archie Moore, near annihilation in the first. When you came into that ring in that beautiful sequin robe, I thought to myself, he looks like Superman. Well, after seeing you fight here this evening, I think you are.
Well, thank you very much. I enjoyed the fight so very much, and Ivan Durrell is a much better opponent than the people had granted him. And I can see why that he had a lot of those fellas down.
I would say you could see why.
Wow.
How much do you remember of the first round?
First round I can remember, only thing I can remember are the knockdowns, but I remember something kept telling me, said, get up, get up. And I said, well, this can't be me. And so I had to get up. I said, well, there's no 3-round knockdown mandatory. So I kept getting up, and I figured, well, I say maybe I can catch him later on, which I did. And although it was a heck of a great fight, and I appreciated being in a good fight. And I think that the Canadian fans are the greatest.
Well, Archie, you certainly won.
That's expected because I was fighting a Canadian son on Canadian soil, and I expect that. But I'm happy that everybody was satisfied with this fight. It was a great fight.
You won their hearts tonight, Archie. Was there any particular moment in the fight when you saw it was beginning to come your way?
Well, I saw it beginning to come my way, and about the fourth round when I began to stiffen him up with good left straight jabs and work him around. And then I knew that I could get a right-hand punch over, which I did.
Archie, you better get down to the dressing room and cool out a bit now. Jack, congratulations.
Thank you,
Jack Kearns, the manager of Archie Moore.
How far are we going?
We are going all over the United States.
Well, I'd like to say to a lady in room 217 in Scripps Hospital, Memorial Hospital in La Jolla, California. She's 90 years old, and I think that she's the sweetest, and I hope that her Nurse Davies will take good care of her and a little boy named Ivan. And I'd like to say hello to them and hope they get out soon and be on the street again.
The press, who had written him off numerous times, were now effusive in their praise. Jimmy Cannon wrote, "Much of what Archie Moore had was spent in 204 fights, but what he had left last night was for the poets." Arnold Rosenfeld wrote, "It was the most amazing demonstration of courage in sports I have ever seen." But Moore fumed after Ingemar Johansson was picked as the Fighter of the Year in the Ring magazine over him. Moore placed third behind Johansson and Sugar Ray Robinson. Robinson had regained the middleweight title and wanted to face Moore for his crown. "I won't be happy until I win the light heavyweight crown," Robinson said. Moore welcomed the fight with Robinson, but instead got a rematch with Ivan Durrell, stopping him in 3 rounds with calm precision. His manager Doc Kearns offered Johansson $1 million for a title fight, but the heavyweight champion didn't bite. Moore was unable to make the light heavyweight limit and was stripped of his title in 1960. Fighting at heavyweight, he remained competitive, sending contender Alejandro Lavarante out of the ring on a stretcher and earning a draw against the younger Willie Pastrano. On November 15, 1962, he faced Muhammad Ali, then known as Cassius Clay, who predicted Moore would fall in 4.
Sharp, stinging punches rock Moore. Moore's in trouble. Clay pouring it on here in round 3. Moore pressing forward, trying to get in that one big punch to take Clay out of there. Ripping punches by Clay, and Moore goes down. Cassius raises his hands over his head. Courageously, Archie gets to his feet. Moore is sent to the canvas again by a barrage of punches. For the second time, Archie gets to his feet to face the inevitable. Ripping punches by Cassius Clay, and it's all over.
He laid a trap for a tiger, Moore chuckled, and all he caught was a mangy old fox. He stopped me in 4 and danced around my ancient carcass. Moore took another fight against pro wrestler Mike DiBiase 4 months later, stopping him in 3 rounds in his last appearance in the ring. I never really retired, Moore said. I just kind of faded out. Moore had been dabbling in acting, getting a role in The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, while appearing in a few popular series like Wagon Train and Batman. In 1968, he created the ABC Any Boy Can program, helping underprivileged youth with boxing lessons to keep them away from drugs and violence. We aren't teaching black power or white power, Moore said. We're teaching brain power. While his youth was gone by the time he hit the big time, Moore wasn't bitter, as he believed that the hardship molded him into the great older fighter that he became. He believed that if he had success as a younger man, he would have felt as if he had nothing more to prove. You see, I knew how to fight early, Moore said. I learned that more important is to learn what to fight for. I was fighting for my family, for my future. I was fighting for, generally, the black race, for men who had given up their lives. You got to know what you're fighting for. Then the fight is much easier.
Many ABC boys go on to become Boy Scouts. ABC just helps them make their first step forward.
It is the correct way. In order to strike again, like a cobra, or an automatic.
Out. Recoil. Out. Recoil. Out. Recoil. Out. Recoil. Out.